please do make the discussion interesting. Chingokanda ma-comments, then chingopindurana tichienda as we go. But please do share. Just a moment, Kelvin is calling me. Mr. Kelvin, we are live.
Oh, okay. I can't get through.
You can't get through. Yeah. Okay. You're using a phone. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. But you can download the app. It's easy. No, all right. Just talk about it. Sorry. Kelvin was just letting me know he's having challenges joining, but I'm sure he'll be joining up soon. Those who have joined, please do share with your friends, your family, so that we can keep the conversation interesting. Welcome, Mr. Kelvin. So I'll just introduce the panelists. We've got Mr. Kelvin Mshambi. He's our legend. He's a former footballer. He played for Caps United, for Sporting Lions. He played for Black Aces too.
Jets. Black Aces, I was young though. More reserved with juniors. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's currently a coach. He's the registered coach with the English FA. That is it. Yeah, and we've got Mr. Rema Opete. He's also a former player. He was in the Caps Juniors. Vazoramwa bhora vakashaya tsotso dzekusimbisa makumbo. Yeah. Then we got Mr. Al. Mr. Al Mjati is our football analyst. He's a big Man City fan. We call him Zangaleo. Yeah. So that's the panel that we had. So yeah, it's not domo kedu, but most of the people running our shootout and experiences are not they speak what they know. But yeah, we've got. Fortunately, now we've got so much to cover because, as Michael Nees said, Zim has got a lot of drama within a day. Drama when it comes Zimbabwe. So my blogger Tripabas. There's a lot to share. But anyway, I think in the past week, what happened? Ray, I don't know if this is good news for you. Team ya Benzema 9, the women's team, that is the assistant coach, they won the Zimbabwe women's PSL. And so that's one thing that happened in the past week.
Yeah, I saw them celebrating. Unfortunately, there isn't much like the Zim Women's League is not really marketed that much. So,
yeah,
we would know. Like if you look at the WPSL, it's actually broadcasted, everywhere, but the same doesn't apply for Zim Women's football. So you wonder why though.
Yeah.
But congratulations to Rentals for the win.
Congratulate assistant coach Benzema number 9.
He's the assistant coach where
The assistant coach Wakadzi, yes. I know you would have something to say. But yeah, congratulations to And then the under-17s World Cup is going on, and I noticed something which shocked me a bit. There's Uganda. They've beaten the likes of France. They've beaten the likes of South Korea. I think they drew with Senegal. So I was just thinking to myself, could say Zimbabwe, we may think that we have a God-given right to then win my senior teams, but just sangana ne Uganda here in 5 years to time, yotirowa tositanga ushamsika kuti chii, but they've started building from the kids, and yeah, the under-17s, they even beat France and stuff. So yeah, it's been very interesting. Then another thing that we'll discuss later is also yeah, Zimbabwe PSL, the expansion drama. Last week we were hearing that they wanted to combine the NFD, the Division One into one league, and then they then said they were writing to PSL so that they can increase the PSL to 20 teams. And then PSL then writes that they want to increase the teams to 22 teams and not relegate. In the last hour, Zifa has come back and they're saying they don't want to see anything about no relegation for the spirit of fairness. But yeah, it's a lot of drama, but we'll discuss it as well. But yeah, the main thing that we'll start with is Qatar versus Zimbabwe. Zim team, the Warriors, they've won their first match, I think, in a year by beating Qatar 2-1. And one thing that I saw during my research is that Qatar, they won the Asian Cup in 2019. They also won the Asian Cup in 2023. So at Naku, we didn't beat Shiri. It's actually a decent team. Because Asia, Kunana, Japan, which are teams which always progress to the knockouts in World Cup. So I think it was a good win. And the other drama has been the media storm because of so-called stuff that's been happening in the camp. Some of it has been refuted. Yeah, so we've got a lot to discuss. I hope we can discuss it quickly. But we'll start with the Qatar game. Guys, what do you think with the lineup? What happened with the lineup? Any surprises? Any positives that you saw from your analysis of the Qatar game?
Look, I didn't watch the game. Just saw a few highlights here and there. And first things first, change is good. Change is good. If water remains stagnant, and it
Yeah.
becomes a haven for mosquitoes to breed. You understand that? Change
Yes.
is good. When water is stagnant, you need to open ways to flow so new water comes in, right? Change
Yeah.
is good. Super Mario stuck to his guns. Akaboronga, he put things where he wanted, he put players where he wanted, pushed Jala into up front, pushed Jonah up front, pushed. You see, my take was from my view watching that, I was thinking maybe he's just trying out to see how players, how they fare in different positions. Because when you have a lineup and then you need to replace a player, who do we have on the bench that can do that for you? So you need to see how they can perform in other positions, and which was good. Gave the boys different chances. And from the highlights I saw, first things first. Hey, Mago Boraya, yeah, that was top notch. Yeah, damn Nashe, that was top. That was top soup. Yeah, no top soup. Yeah, because that thing hit the roof. Keeper, the keeper tried to punch it. It was already there. And then Billy, mfana yapta magu Europe sure. Bila kona keeper baiso. Akanyanza not keeper baiso.
Did
Then
he mean it though? Did he
he
mean
did.
it?
He did.
Really?
I don't know, but to me that was a brilliant take. Because if you look at his position where the ball is going, the ball was curling like that. Keeper Yanga to Buddha. So those two goals, the goals were good. And then I saw Chibozenze Akaitama crucial saves. Very, very, very Paish. Those guys in Qatar were already celebrating. The positives was that the team, and I saw Msendami was being offensive the whole time. That's what you want from offensive players. You want them to take on defenders. But overall I'm glad Super Mario stuck to his guns, did what he wanted to do as a coach. You don't need to be told, Nemuna Gara behind the microphone, Kanaripa keyboard, kuti, hey, Tampisa Ningi, and then these allegations, they abuse and all what. You see, I don't understand. If you're abused as a player, why do you stay? You leave, ka? If you're abused, you leave. Yeah, if you're abused, you leave. Then you see, it even builds a stronger case for you if you leave and say I left because I was abused. But so far, so good. The changes are needed for now because now that they will respect him. Now they will respect him. Kuti akati handidi. No, it's just a no. His yes is a yes. Period. No one can push him. If he's going to get fired for that, well, it is what it is. But it's a good thing that it's a good start to the change. You see, they're playing positive.
Yeah, yeah, very interesting take. I think on Munashe, I always thought that we kind of underutilized his height, and I was very happy to see him achieve score from a header because probably set pieces will be very crucial for Afcon. If we defend well, if you nick a set piece goal, then Mozara, it will be very good for us. Tactical guru, what was the shape? What were the intricacies of the lineup?
Um, yeah, obviously, to start with, I think everyone, well, a lot of people were surprised at how we set up, but I wasn't surprised, because not that I was expecting him to put aside, the all the players that he put in there, but I wasn't surprised because someone who is looking at being solid would do a formation like that, and there was sort of there was a lot of thought to the supposedly madness, yeah. Because if you look at but the way that he set up, in that I know people have been talking about, oh yeah, what formation was it? It was still 3-5-2. It just that it
Okay,
rotates, where sometimes it looks a four when Jalai was pushing forward, but when we lose the ball, Jalai would come back, yeah, make it a five, and then you've got three sitting in there. So what he did there was uh, Moreira played on the right side of the three,
okay.
yeah.
Oh,
And when they shift now, he became the right back, and Jalai pushes on.
okay,
When they're defending, he comes. Jalai comes back in. The Vira pushes inside. So you've got your three again, with the wing back. And what he did there, the master stroke he did there was he used two players on the side who naturally that's where they play. So even though Murito was more center, but he's used to that because when you're playing four as a right-sided midfield, right side as a right back, you tuck in and
yeah,
become a centre back when the ball is attacking from the other side. So there's nothing new for him there. It wasn't anything that was surprising for him. And yeah, so obviously in the three center of Cinema, he made sure that there was solidity as well and there was height as well, which obviously nowadays, it's kind of come back in where you need the height and the strength. With but having a left wing back as well who plays center as well. He can play center, but he was actually wide. So
yeah,
you could tell that he was going for solidity before anything else. And then the midfield just shows you exactly what it was about because he's having Fusire there. He's having Nakamba and the young Jonah. Yeah, in itself there, that's industrious midfield. Why he's not thinking much about the flair in there.
okay,
He knows that we're in for a battle, so sometimes you have to sacrifice a bit of flair. You then want to know what the lads in there to have to be able to sort of replace the flair players when we have the ball. That they're not going to be like the Chirewas and all that, the Maswani says, but they can do the basics. Yeah, because one thing you knew is that we're never going to have the ball more than them because they're good at it.
yeah,
Yeah. So the shape, itself, was actually good. And even when I saw, because I think when they scored the first goal, I was still driving and I was trying to, sort it out, put it on my phone and all that. So I missed the first goal, but I was never in panic when I started seeing them, towards the end of the first half. And I thought they'll be all right, but they'll because the important thing that people sometimes forget is that we we're trying to master a formation that has been trained for now it's a week. Yeah, up to yesterday it was a week because he started on a Monday. So I
Yeah.
think they've done really, really well. And hats off as well to the lads because they've picked up, the formation quite quickly. We're not there yet. There's still a lot of work to do, but for what they've done, it shows the intelligence that we have, in the side. And maybe I'm not going to have a go at Nice because managers are different or coaches are different. But
Yeah.
sometimes someone comes in, he gives you instructions that are easy, and the way that someone articulates, what themselves to you, you can quickly pick up, what they're trying to what they're trying to do. And I think the lads have done it quickly. Especially if you think as well, that's not exactly the side that started the previous game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in a way, as well, like going back to the lads, you realize that even when they're not playing, they're looking at it. They're trying to figure out, what the coach wants. And that's important because that
Yeah.
shows that everyone is on maximum concentration in that side to make sure that when you're given the chance to come in there, you're not going to be lost. You're not going to be asking too many questions about where I should be, where I shouldn't be, and all. So, so far, I've seen good coaching so
Yeah.
far. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's good. Eh, Zangaleo. uh, so in our past videos, we've spoken about the goalkeeping situation about Chipezeze, and you gave a bit of a constructive criticism of the previous game at Chipezeze. And we've had a super fan here, Chipezeze, come to us on YouTube. He was fuming. He was saying, "You guys are targeting Chipezeze just because he's not a player who plays for Dimbare, and just because he's not a player who's in Harare." But then I said, "No, we analyze performances. We don't look kuti ndichipezeze here, ndinakamba here, ndiani, ndiarobi. If he does something, we just point out what has been done. So you can start from Chipezeze, then you can give us an overview of what you saw with him."
Yeah, I think yesterday he had a good game. He was good on crosses, cutting out crosses, and it was one touch, not punching. And when he needed to punch, he parried it away further from goal. And there was one which I thought it was a very good save where he parried it for a corner just off the post. That was
Mm.
that shot was taken from a very close range, and for him to react in that short space of time and parry it for a corner, it was really brilliant. So overall, he had a good game. Of course, there are things he's never going to be perfect, and no one is going to be perfect. There are things that he can improve. Obviously, the coaches know what he can improve on, and they will tell him where he can improve on. But I was pleased. You see, what we were questioning was we don't really know what Chipezes can give us because Nice kept playing Arubi. This is what we wanted to see, that we have a good alternative. And yesterday, he showed that he can be a good alternative to Arubi. So if we were not sure, like after one game, we were not sure that he was the guy because he wasn't in best form in that game, right? But he proved yesterday that he can be a good option. So what I would have liked to see, I'm glad that the coach put him in, but what I would have loved to see was probably in the second half, he should have
Yeah.
put Mapisa on so
Oh,
that we
okay.
can also see what Mapisa can do in a game situation. You see, because we have already had a whole game that Chipes has played and the first half of this one, and we can be confident that he's able to cover for Arubi if needs be. Then we need to do the same for with Mapisa. You see, if you watch the England game, it was Henderson in goal. Henderson is England's third choice goalkeeper. You see, these are standard things that have to be done, because you can't go to a tournament without knowing what your third choice goalkeeper can give you in a game situation. And you have to explore all the three of them, how they do. So I was glad to see him prove himself that he is good, and it's obvious that there's a reason why he was selected to be in the national team, because he's a good goalkeeper. But in the game that he had played, the game that we saw, he didn't cover himself in glory. Yeah, of course, people will have opinions, but those are just opinions. We judge on what we see. To then say that you guys are from Harare, you support Dynamos. I don't even like Dynamos. I don't even like Caps United. You see, it has nothing to do with that. I don't even like any Harare team for that matter. I like Highlanders for some bizarre reason, and I'm Shona. I've never really liked gone the path most people think I would go when it comes to supporting football teams. But so that's my take on Chipezeze. And then I would like to add one thing on the team selection. Na coach, it was brilliant. Like Kevin rightfully highlighted, that it was still a 3-5-2. Then changing when we are defending and changing when we are attacking. But what I liked the most was the communication between Msendami and one of the midfielders. I think it was an energy thing. Was a lot of the time, Fusire used to go side by side with Prince Dube, pressing. They would start the press, both of them. He would come from midfield and push forward, and then Msendami drops back, and then leaves those two to start the press, and then they start pressing from there. It was good formation. And when Padera who came on at halftime, he did the same thing as well. I think it was because of energy. You see, he wanted guys with energy to run a lot to lead that press, which was brilliant. And as a result, we saw the result that we saw. So thumbs up to the coach.
I think it was good to see.
Can I just catch on something quickly before I forget? Because Ray mentioned this, the goal, our second goal. When that goal went in, I thought there was part of me. Normally, I would be 100% convinced that it's a cross. But there was something about the way that he moved into the box that made me think, was it a cross? Or was he shooting it on, a goal? And actually, as I then looked at it, and then you look at his body as well, the way he shaped himself, and where the only man who was probably near a scoring position, where he was far too deep for him to be crossing that ball to.
Yeah.
And you look at his shape like that, he went for goal. The only difference now is that why people say, oh yeah, it was lucky, is because he took it on the side, like how you whip the ball. So that made it seem like he's actually he's crossing, but that goal wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a fluke. He actually meant it. And so it's easy because we used to people whipping the ball on the side foot. So we always think that he's trying to cross the ball. But the way that he hit the ball, there was no way that he was crossing that ball. No way. Yeah.
If you watch the England Albania game, Rashford crossed the ball that Harry Kane scored. You see, you can tell the difference between the cross and someone who's going for goal. Rashford saw Kane running, so he put that in his path, like so he meets the ball. So when Kane got, he just put his head. All Kane did was redirect that ball. That's all he did. He just redirected the ball. You could tell the intent was the cross. But when that young man came into the box, watch him. He doesn't go that way and whip it. He doesn't go and whip it back. He goes in straight. Then he looks up. Then he saw that his teammate was deep, and he knew I can't give him. He's too deep. And he saw the keeper. And he said, I'm going to take this chance. That was brilliant. That young fella. And Zangalewa on Chipezeze, that was a good analysis. I've always said, for Chipezeze to be said the best goalkeeper in South Africa, there has to be a reason behind it. Look, you've got all these big teams from Mamelodi Sundowns. Mamelodi Sundowns is sitting at the top. Handidi, those guys. But he is said to be the best keeper in that country at the moment. So you can't tell me this guy is not good enough to be doing that. And rightfully, Super Mario gave him the chance. Kudichi, show me, what you've got. And he did. He proved himself. In the other game, he was jittery, yes. Here, he proved himself. But also on that part, Kuti, we need to be giving these keepers to see what we have. This is what I feel should have been done with young Mali Taraziva during his time. Because I still feel it's really unfair to that young fella. That young fella did not even get. It was until my fans apopota kuti all right, this is the dead rubber chimpinza, and pakazopinzwa pacho. It was maybe because I mean minute 25. Like you damage his confidence. You damage. He starts doubting himself. Kuti, am I really that bad? But this guy comes in. Munwesa was expecting to no. But I had no. Elvis Ndiorba go in there. He went there. So what he had done, like Zangalo said. After Elvis did whatever he did, good, Buddha, and then Chipinza, another young Mapisa, what you have, this is your time. Because Apananguva, so each one needs to prove. All these young fellas, they were given their chance by Chipinda. You could see the energy. You could see these young fellas wanted to prove a point. Not the young fellas, okay, the players, what I the young fellas like I'm taking aside. These players wanted to prove a point. The energy was good, the movements was good, the way they were covering each other. There's a part I don't know what happened. The ball, it missed, the midfield was coming. Guess who went in for the slide tackle? Young Fabish. How he got there, I don't know. Maybe he's wide. Man, he's wide defensively. I saw him going for the tackle and then tackled for a throw in. He was already covering. They're all starting to understand, good, even though I'm playing there, we are part of a team. When we're all under attack, we all come together. If we're pressing, we press together. Like what Jalai was doing. Well, Jalai is an academy player. I mean, he's the best wing back we've got at the moment. Yeah, I like the boy. I don't like Dynamos, but I really do not like Dynamos. I do not like Dimare, but that boy, his levels, and Vanaya his levels. But you see, it's the way. It's the way he was going. The way he was going in supporting his defense, and the way they were playing Futkuti, Bora and Munashe. From there, go wide, or Panels or receiver Pakat. You see, as a defensive midfielder, Basarako, when the keeper plays the ball to the wing back, make yourself available. Always make yourself available. Rikaenda left. You don't go Ikoko, you push in and you tuck in a little bit. So you're waiting with the Uyu and you. And then na wing aripapa. If it comes per center, make yourself available. Already you scanning. That's why they're always scanning. So you initiate things. And then it's easy for DM, if you're doing that, make yourself available. You have these three backs so that you can initiate, or you can play, war pass, what is Zosera. And then you tell him with Isauko, Bozo, Toscana, Isauko, Achisauko, you receive and go. The movement was good. All these youngsters, when they came, even the press, we've never had the press. We touched on pressure before. But the moment they tried to play it, Prince was on them. Sean was coming. This is what you want to see. You want to see good. Then they realize good. Energy. You make them panic. Zangalewa, every time Man City played Liverpool, when the three kings were still there, the moment it was Man City will always play from the back. We know Man City will never. The moment it was Liverpool mark man for men. The moment you go watch it, Diaz, Mane was there. Manachishika, Firmino is there. The other one is there. So a certain panic would come into Man City. By the time they react, so the press, these guys are coming. Whatever is teaching these boys. We were going in a different direction. I'm sorry to say, it's a different direction than Nice. we're going in a direction. Inini Hangu, I never liked him. I never, because why took Qatar Sabora, so like, we would order guy out, okay, Trikutamba, okay. What is this one supposed to do? What is this one supposed to do? Does this one know what he's supposed to be doing there? We are going to quit. Can I under attack? Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? Where am I looking? So if you look at the game, when we attack, Anajalai would go forward and did like increase numbers in offensive. The transitioning from offense to defense, it's automatic. They would come back knowing now I need to transition. Because I would say we are now on the receiving end. This is what you want to see in a team. A team in a coach could this is what you want to see. Yeah. And it's good to see they've started on a high with a new coach. He's come, he stamped his authority. They went, they did what he wanted. They come out with a 2-1 win. Qatar shiri kubora. There's never shiri kubora.
Yeah. Qatar, they're ranked 52nd. We are ranked 129.
Thank you.
So I don't know what shiri means in this regard because shiri, who is shiri? We are the shiris. Yeah, because 129 and 52, the massive, that's 40. Yeah. So 77 places is it between us. Yeah. That tells you, that you're not playing against the Mickey Mouse side. It's playing against a team that's been Asian champions. Asia, they play football. Yeah. So what I wanted to add on to that is I've praised this young man. And the interesting thing is that there's a lot of people who still, because no disrespect, if you don't really understand the tactical know-how of the game, you see what people do on the ball, and that's what you base on and say, this guy is good, this guy is good. It's until you realize what people do off the ball, how crucial it is. That's when you understand that, how good some footballers are.
Yeah,
I have given Jonah his dues for what he's done.
Yeah.
Even right now, you have people. If you ask them to describe Jonah yesterday, they will tell you that. In fact, I've seen so many comments saying he's all right, but he's not really at the level that we need, to be with Zimbabwean players. He's not a starting 11. My God. That boy shocked me yesterday. He shocked me how intelligent he is because it's what he was doing off the ball. Those are things that I expect from someone who's been playing football for a long time. Yeah. Something that is natural. I'll tell you what a good defensive midfielder does, what Jonah was doing in there. The ball, say they're starting the ball from their right side. Yeah. We have our pressers there who go in there. Jonah will go in there and pick the next midfielder, yeah, or even the next wide man. As they run away from their goal, they're attacking us. Jonah would pass on. It almost like he was delivering players. He would pass on a player to the wing back, and then he takes the next player in the middle. He's looking. He sees that we've got a spare man in there, and he will pass him on again. And he goes to the next player. Yeah. All that whilst you all watching the ball. Yeah. He's watching, every time that he did that, he was making sure that you are not going to receive the ball until I've made sure that someone is picking it. Yeah. But for the opposition, if they're on the right side, to play, if they're going to switch the ball, we have time to all pivot, onto the other side. But because you want to pass it, you don't want to launch it, I'm going to make sure that I stop that pass from here, or I'm doing touch tie. Once he realizes that my left wing back is coming in now to pick, he was just pushing him on there. He comes in the middle. He sees it. Nakamba is not picking. He passes on to Nakamba. He goes to the next one. So in one play, Jonah could pick 3-4 players, and the ball has not gone into those positions. So now, people what they're not looking at, if Jonah didn't do that, these guys could have had an effect on the play. But he's making sure that you don't put that ball there. So for me to make it easy for some who don't understand, I'll give you a good example. A throw in, yeah. If you are, let's just say I'm playing as a defensive midfielder, yeah.
Yeah.
If someone is going to throw a throw in, yeah. Even if I'm marking you, I'm supposed to mark you. I'll always go in front of you or on the side by side with you. What am I doing there? I'm making sure that your thrower is not going to throw the ball to your feet because he knows that I'll nick it. Yeah. So he's never going to throw the ball at you. He throws the ball somewhere else. No one sees that I've actually effected play there. Because the ball wasn't played there, no one thinks that, oh, you know what? Mushi stops them from putting the ball there. Because of my reaction, I'm not going to stand behind you. If I stand behind you, you're going to get it to fit. So I'm going to stand side by side with you, or I'm going to stand in front of you. They're not going to try to throw the ball behind me, because I've got a defender who's covering me. That's exactly the same thing that Jonah was doing from the normal play, not even a throw in. Yeah. He was covering ground in there, even where he was not receiving the ball. People just do not realize how that young lad actually makes that play possible. He makes it possible for us to do that because Mave is not going to be able to do that. You see, there's no other defensive midfielder who's going to do. Mave did well.
Yeah.
He played like a senior player. Where you don't have as much energy as the other lad you're playing with or with the Fusiris and all, but you are directing them, and it's almost like you're cheating in a way. That's where you just use it. Left shoulder, right shoulder, left shoulder, pull back, push forward and all that. Some people made a living out of just talking in a game. So this is what you want, if you're not fit enough to do the things that needs to be done, make sure that when you have the players, young lads who can do the job, make sure that you use them. And he was using them, but for Jonah, he didn't even need Marvin to tell him because he was doing it by himself. And that lad, I tell you, for anyone who's listening to this who doubts Jonah, you need to get this game, start watching it again without the pressure, because sometimes as well, people watch the game under pressure because you just want to win. That's why sometimes I watch a game twice, because the next time I'm watching it, I want to see exact things that I was missing because I was too tense. Yeah. That boy, he's going to be great for our side. He's really going to be great.
And the question which is coming in from the comments, which is interesting. It says we still need Msona and Kama in Afcon squad because of their experience. Ray, don't.
Look, all right. This is what the problem with us as Zimbabweans when we watch football, and we become emotionally attached to players. We become emotionally attached to a cause, so much that it goes so much to a fault, to a default, because what you are seeing, what they were seeing or what they saw, they're probably thinking, oh, there come a die, maybe Taigwesa. There come a die, Taigwesa. And without looking at the opposition. We've just talked about energy. Mave was directing the youngsters because he knew, and being smart, these boys ran better than me. It is so, and then here he was. That's being smart, and because he's understanding his body, he's starting to see it. Okay, I don't need to be running as much. But now, when you get offensive players need to be running all the time. Offensive players need to be on the go all the time. And at the same time, This is why we are where we are at the moment. This is why we don't have young Mali Tawazia. We'll never know how good that boy was going to be for us. Because Israel getting a chance, he's just being told, but we still need Ningina. Okay, who are you going to drop for Kama and Musona to go to Afcon? And what is the main reason that you want to bring them in? Because let's be factual, okay? Let's be factual. Let's stand on the truth and on the facts. We are not going to achieve a lot for Afcon, okay? Given the time this coach has come in, given the time that he has limited to go in, the time he has to work with the boys, we should not be expecting super results. Let's just go in there, hold our own, learn from our mistakes, and then start rebuilding for the future, right? This is where you're going to take all the youngsters that you need to work with. This is where you take them. You see, right now, with the way the team was, with the attackers, the Super Mario is got. Because remember, Chirewa was not there. Did Walter play?
No, it didn't.
You don't play, right? You see, you've got all those boys and Walter. Why do you want to drop Walter and bring in his older brother? Walter is younger. Walter is fitter. Why don't drop him and bring his brother? Yes, the brother might have experience, but we don't have time. Now is not the time to experience what else. Now is the time to be making sure that Anna Walter, in this, Nana Billy, Nana Msendami, Nana Sean, Nanani, they are the core. Nana Chirewa, Nana Mashadisi, they are the core of the team. Knowing that next year, Patonzi, Zimbabwe is starting Afcon qualifiers. Text those Zivakuti are right. We're gonna have eight solid of our boys are coming. Nana Jonah, they're all coming. Not Kuti, you have 4-5 of them today. And then next year you bring in Vamwemanje, and then now they need to get to know each other, need to start gelling again. Why are we taking one step forward and 2 steps back? Nothing against him, Sona, nothing against Kam. But guess what? Your time came. You sparkled, you were the stars. We saw you, we acknowledged you, we appreciated you. It's time, open up for the youngsters to go in. Okay? Open for the youngsters to go in. Tell me, unless there's another country that I'm not sure of, which country at the moment is Chile. Chile did it. They kept on, their midfield, they kept on bringing, what's his name? Vidal.
Yeah.
They kept on bringing Vidal, and then they would push what's his name? This the Real Madrid guy, this utility player. What's his name? The skinny guy, very good player. Sorry, not him. That's from Paraguay. But the point is, but then they realized, first week is time to then they started slowly but surely replaced him. They put in another guy. And this is what you want. You always want to stay on the up and the up. You don't want to go up and then come down. Calling for knowledge and karma. Look, that's in the past. This is a new chapter. Let's open a new book. We can't, because I don't see what they're going to do. Honestly, I do not see what contribution they're going to bring. Okay, not kuti havachagoni bora or not kuti havagoni. We all know kuti vanogona. That's why they are where they are. But at this level that we are now, at the projection that we're looking at, we do not need that. At the projection we're looking at, we should be going on the up and the up. And we're still going on the up and the up. Going on the up and the up, 3-4 years, we should be looking to replace him. We should be looking to find someone to put there. Kelvin is a coach, he knows that, he understands that. This is nothing against these guys, but we need to be replacing these guys before they actually come to the end. And we don't push them until the end. We should be saying, was there. Padera is coming. Padera is taking over there. Mave also is another one. That was one. Jonah na Padera. They are the next. They need to know now. The next chapter is these two boys. These two boys are the next chapter. They're the next kingpins. We're going to be calling out their names in the next chapter. Not Mimi. Mimi, we called your name. It was Bo Magaspaka Jakwana. In the next chapter, we're calling these boys. I'm sorry, but Sona Nakama, can we stop that? Can we stop? Let's not build football on based on patronage. Kuti, I'm a fan, so I need to see him there. No. Let's build football on reality, on the reality. Kuti, this is what we have. Your time has come. Bora, you see, the thing with Bora and human physiology, the older you get, the slower you become. And when you get to that level, was IB9 jersey. Not that I have anything against IB9. IB9 akatamba nesuka anenge achitospaka. Boss what he does. Anenge achitospaka boska. Teta boys of the birds of the same feathers andika. But kuwafana ukauko kurukunzi all is well. He wouldn't even be. Let me give you an example. N'Golo Kante akauya. He shook the Premier League. No one had ever seen Munu, guy like that, with that energy. But with time, it took its toll on him. As he grew older, it took its toll on him. Then he went Saudi. Akatanga kuspaka Saudi. Why do you think I spaka Saudi? It felt spark in the EPL. Because the EPL, they keep bringing younger stock. But you start feeling the effect. Saka anakama ngati bomira yenyewe.
Thanks, Ray. Yeah, I think Mr. Elvis vanovafarira nakama hanzi Lewandowski na Messi Cristiano achiri kutamba saka Musona nakama vanofanira kutambawo. Yeah.
Can I answer him on that? I know ndamutaura hours atataura. How do you want to
How do you have anything?
Then I'll go after you here.
Okay, yeah. On Musona, I would understand why they would take him to Afcon. Because let's take an example. Yeah, I'll give an example. Yeah, Milner. You see the role that Milner plays to Brighton. You hardly ever see him on the pitch, but he's part of the squad.
Okay.
Yeah, he can go to be part of the squad, and in the rare moment that we need to control the game, we need him for certain qualities that he possesses that are needed in the game in that very moment. Then we can put him. But to then say we need both Musona and Billiard, I personally think Billiard, it's time for him to take a rest. You see, we criticized Nice for playing Musona as a 6, but we now know that he can do a job there if he needs to do. All right. So to have him in the squad, I don't mind, but in the starting 11, probably not. Okay. So take him to Afcon, but start phasing him out. Like start phasing these guys out. Like I'm always an advocate, Tando. That the reason why Takadiedza Musona to begin with is because the likes of Anatando were not pushed forward. Well, you see, upcoming strikers were not being given a chance to be in and around the national team, or for them to then be the men when these guys retired. But we found ourselves going back to Musona and requesting him to come back because we didn't have a succession plan, and we need that. And it's now we have to start now, like what Ray was saying. Start with these guys, Anapadera, Anafusire. You see, these are the next generation, and we have to start integrating them now into that national team. And these guys are already on their way out. Anamashi, Anamave, Vaktobuda. You see, but if the question was taking him to Afcon just for these ones, I would say Musona only, just for his experience, but not for him to go and start there.
I was just thinking, Pamam Chitaura Pakuti, with the young boys who played yesterday and the young boys who played against Algeria. That's what the way it's already looking and the style of play and the energy that's required by the coach. It's very tricky for us to say we can have Musona and Kama in the same team starting because only going to replace I saw a couple of comments the same as what you saw, cousin. Ndingaiti ndaona bhora rafusira ndaona bhora rafabish, but I think it was from a lack of understanding of the tactical role those young boys were playing in that system. Because as Ray said earlier, as Zimbabwe, we've never been a team which has pressed forward. We've been a team which always sits back, at energy. Then we get attacked, and there's nothing to press. But Nezuro, you will see high energy. Pana Fusire is with Prince, sometimes Kumberi, they're interchanging, they're covering each other. Joda is coming to the back, is Gigi. So if we say it out of in Zamsona, we are removing that energy that was there. So I would agree with our Msona. Okay, you can come in, maybe Tadrinya 1-0 win Chedu. We are under pressure. Now we need someone up front who akatumirwa bhora anorichengeta and keep it. We can do that. But we'll be doing a very big disservice kuvapana vayo. And I was thinking, good, okay, already pavapana variko apa tanga tisina Marshall Mnetsi already kuSaudi neKatar. So that's a place. Tanga tisina Zemura kuQatar. That's a place. Again, Andy Nomota, that's another thing that we need to talk about. Andy has just found a club, so he'll be starting to play. And I highly suspect that he will be called up for Afcon. So that's another place in midfield. Yeah, Togo. So why do we keep pushing the guys who are really active in good leagues and keep saying Judam, Sona, Nakama and starting 11? I don't think that's a good thing. You can go
Yeah.
on.
No, right. Wow, you guys have said a lot. I could be here for 4 hours talking to you, but I'm going to try to be very brief, yeah. I want to answer first, the one thing you talked about, OJ, about the people who were saying that this kid wasn't playing well. It goes back to something that I've always said on this group and other groups before. And I know with the people, sometimes people find it offensive, but you want people who tell you the truth, and that's what we do. Yeah. Zimbabwe, the reason why in a problem in local football or local players, yeah, you can pick a couple here and there, is because there's a difference between talent and being able to play in a system. Yeah. And I always I have talked about myself when I left Zimbabwe, from playing Premier League in Zimbabwe to coming in here to conference, and I realized that I hardly understood playing in a system. But how long have I been playing football? I came here when I was 26. Yeah. By the time I was 15 or so, and that my reserve and ACs, but not the president of the Premier League. So sure, and in the guy Taba grassroots, I did it from 9 years old. So from 9 to 26, that's 17 years that I should have understood Bora Lafana even Canary Academy, 14, 15 I have to understand. I realized I hardly understood what it takes to be in a system. But when you talk about kundikandira bhora apa kana kuti tiri kunzitwita warm up kana kuti chiva chitoedza kuti ngombona muchizvaanoita nebhora, yeah, because they can see the technical aspect of me. But when it comes to the game, vanhu vasina skill vaya vaindikunda bhora because they understood what it is to play in a team. So now problem iriko kuZimbabwe ndeyekuti, no offense to the fans, if you go and watch Premier League, you went on cannot Turkish cannot platinum versus whoever, whatever teams you're watching there. Yeah. The one thing that you're going to see is vanhu vacharidza muridzo panoitwa maskill play. Unozvakanoti Dynamo zichitamba anonzani Denver. Yeah. Denver akaita ground anditi
Shibobo.
You will never
Not
ever,
cancel
you know,
man.
if you do that, no, but I'm being honest. If you do that here, they will pull you off.
Mm.
Yeah, because they believe in the game and would sit to find in the system. So this is where the biggest problem is. People need to educate themselves when it comes to understanding kuti kutamba in a team. What does it take? There are positions, especially a position like a defensive midfielder, where you literally sacrifice yourself for the team. You know what? That's the one position where it's a thankless task. People might not even see how effective you are the whole 90 minutes, but you actually are the reason why the team won. But
Yeah.
people who only look at where the ball is won't understand that. And ask yourself a question. When scouts want to watch a player, you're in Brazil, yeah? Why do they catch a flight to go to Brazil to watch you rather than just watch you on TV?
Mm.
Because TV doesn't give you the whole picture. It doesn't
Yeah.
give you, it doesn't, you cannot see anyone where they're positioned if they're off the ball. With the camera, you probably see where the ball is in a bit of of the pitch. When you're watching from live, you're seeing everywhere, everything, everywhere, everyone, and what they're doing. Off the ball, on the ball, off the ball, on the ball. Yeah, that's the difference. So people need to start understanding, that these young guys, that they say, or it's actually criticism and saying they're not playing well. For that coach to play Fabish that game which we lost, and then he plays in this game as well. He's
90
already
minutes
seen.
again.
He's already seen what this young boy can do. I've seen it. Other people have seen it, but there's a lot of people who haven't seen it, who haven't seen what he's doing. So maybe they need to ask themselves, surely it can't be favoritism because he doesn't know that boy on a personal level. So start
Mm.
understanding why he's playing. Yeah. Sorry, I'll come off to that. And
Okay.
we were talking about Musona and billiards,
Come.
yeah. And I find it's a bit weird because when you've played football and you're talking about other football players, it sounds a bit unfair. But anyway, they were young when I played, so I'm not like in the extreme, so I can say whatever I want to say. Right. I look at the team that we have now. We're looking at the future, and when you're looking at and you're looking at you're looking at the future. What it means is uh, we can realistically, I think we are able to accommodate Msona. And why I say that is because we can accommodate Msona because we still need someone who can give us a bit of leadership in there. But leadership doesn't necessarily mean that he's got to start games, he's got to play 90 minutes or whatever. But there are times when Musona is going to help us. There are times when it can be a bit overwhelming for young lads who are still starting, especially when you go to Afcon and all that, and you probably need Musona. And I think it's our who mentioned that he's played, midfield and all that. He can do a job. Remember the words. He
Do a
can
job.
do a job. Not that he will be saying Kama is going to be our midfielder, but we know that Kama could go into that match where probably we are all over the place, and he can just calm it a little bit, you know. Or he can go in there and we're just looking for a target man, and we know that he might not give us a lot pressing wise because he's not as young
Right.
as the other lads, but when it comes to his feet, it will probably stick. That will help us to come out there. So Sona, yes, billiards, I think is a luxury player that we can't afford having in that, especially in the starting. If that coach is ever going to have him, which I don't know, but it should be. I won't be surprised if he's not in the squad because where he plays, Karma on the ball, great. He can do his magic and all that, but it's going to need much more than just being on the ball with this formation that we'll be playing because off the ball he can't do what the coach is going to ask him of.
Yeah.
And now if we're saying Marve is in there as an experienced player and he is directing, sort of players in there, go to your left, go to your right, pull deep, go forward and all that. We can't have one or two more players who don't have energy doing the same thing. We can't have three players in that side who are telling others to do a job because they don't have the legs to do it. Yeah. So that means, I think for me personally, I think Musona in that squad, I would have him. But Billiard, unfortunately, as much as I like him, because I think he's a very good player, I think there's something that won't work for him because of the fact that he won't have the energy that is needed in that formation. That formation is almost like you seeing, even though they're different sort of yeah, ages in terms of where they are with football. It's like you're seeing Mainu, yeah, where he's gone from a starter, in England and all that, and all of a sudden, a coach has come and he's got a formation which does not suit him with two sort of midfielders in there, and that's the same as Kama. We cannot afford Kama. He's too luxury a player. There are players who can do more or less what he does, but they can do much more off the ball.
Yeah.
That's my point here.
No. Yeah. Thank you for that. Then the interesting thing I'd like to hear from you is, I saw Murwira taking a lot of corner kicks, but they were not even passing the first man at the front post. And I was disappointed with that because of the height of the centre backs that we had against the height of the centre backs for Qatar. Because we had Deve, we had Munashe is very tall. Murwira is not that tall, but who's the other one? Lunga again at left back. He's a very tall guy. Sometimes we also had Prince Dure up front. He's also a bit tall, but I saw that a lot of corner kicks were being wasted from a set pieces, and I was trying to think, could in squad Medu, which player is good at corner kicks? I've seen Kama take them before, but I've never
Water.
really had comfort yekuti Diani Munanotora set piece. Yes, is important.
Water
From
would be good.
I think for me, from a technical point of view, yeah, since Walter wasn't in there, I think I would have let Jalai take corner kicks because he's got technique,
Okay,
to hit the ball, and as well, he doesn't give us anything in the box. He's going to be out of the box because of his height. So it's not always that he's going to get a chance like he did yesterday. When the ball come out, and then he had
that shot.
a beautiful shot. Yeah. So now, when you're talking about being effective, he's got to go somewhere where he's effective, and I think corner kicks, it would have done. For me, right, when you're talking about technique, with corner kicks, I couldn't believe that Murwira took. There's a point when it was like almost three corner kicks.
Yeah. Three at the same
where
time.
he had one, it was cleared, and it was cleared for a corner, and he took another one and he took near post again, and then shortly after he got it. And I'm thinking, you've got to be smarter than that, because when you're whipping the ball, and you're putting all the pressure there, whipping will force the ball to drive. So driving many a times, if you don't do it right, it's either you're going to overheat it, or you're going to hit a ball which doesn't even go past the first man. So the first time that he did that and it didn't work, the second time he should have just tried to caress the ball. They don't try to put power into it. Just sort of lift it, just lift it into the box. It's like tennis. Yeah, it's like tennis. The first serve, you go bang straight away. The second serve, you're going to lose, a point. You hit it, sort of, you almost like measuring where you want it to go, without the power. So what he was doing there, he was trying to put power, but he was putting power where he's driving the ball. And you can't have three corner kicks in our international play, then that's criminal. So he shouldn't be taking corner kicks at all. There should be someone who knows exactly what they're doing, because those are, should we say, half chances? They half chances,
Yeah,
corner
yeah,
kicks nowadays.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
You see, the
Yeah,
those which captain, you would expect captain in those situations. It's been
mm,
repeated several times, more than 5 times it happened.
mm,
You know the
mm,
squad, you know the players in the squad. Do you
mm,
want to try
mm.
this corner kick and let's see what happens? You see,
Yeah,
that's leadership. You see,
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
if you keep repeating the same thing and it's not working and you are not changing anything, the reason why there's a captain on the pitch is to make decisions that the coach is not able to make from the touchline.
Yeah.
That decision, Mavi could have just picked another player he knows that is better at set pieces. Okay, mboswapa na Ruira uenda unotora the corner kick, and that could have
Mm.
helped.
And I think as well, from a tactical point of view as well, with corner kicks here, you see that yes, we scored a beautiful goal, a beautiful header, yeah,
Mm,
but it's not really our forte, is it? We don't really score goals, from corner kicks in that way.
yeah,
So for
yeah,
me, if you're not good, if you're not very good or extremely good, with your headers, and especially when you don't even have someone who is, taking proper corner kicks, you should always try to swing it in rather than, because you see,
Mm.
let's just say, like, if you're watching Liverpool play, you know that when they go forward there, you've got Konate, you've got PVD, but enter
yeah,
those players who can head the ball. So whoever is taking the cross, say from the right side and is right footed, it's almost like an outfoot, yeah,
yeah,
outward ball, because he's targeting those, because they can jump and head the ball. If we don't have that, we have to take chances on swinging it, so that it could be that the defender just puts it in his own net. Yeah. So that means our right-sided corner kicks, we should be putting a left-footed player there to swing it, and on the left side, we should be putting someone who can take, better corner kicks than what Morita was doing. Because for me, anything going outward, actually, with some teams, you actually put yourselves in danger, because what, you can
Start a counter
easily be
attack.
caught out on a counter attack. If you're swinging it out wide and you don't hit it properly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because I was frustrated, but Makona three in a row, just ending with the first man, and I was like, it's a professional player. How can you fail to have a corner kick like that? So with the guys who were not there, Marshall, Andy, Nazemura, um, if we assume that their relationship with my coach is good, is there a way in for them? Are they an essential commodity or what for the
They
Yeah, I
squad?
think you see, Vachurwita say, coach, we actually would my players. So
Mm-hmm.
this is why we are not expecting miracles Afcon. We are going to use those games. And remember, when in the last podcast I said it is in the next qualifiers that we're going to start expecting to see a huge improvement in this team, right?
Yeah.
So anaga shamsa games of Afcon is games to assess all other players, like you've highlighted with Atinakuona Mashi, Atinakuona Zemura, Atinakuona Andy. Saga, he needs time to assess to those players. Or not, Anofita say, and then to compare with, all right, if I'm making a choice, who do I go with? Do I go with Padera or do I go with Andy? And but he has to see Andy play in that system first and see how it works out. So
Yeah.
I would love to see them code. And it's incumbent upon those players to have a good relationship with the coach because the coach is in control. If they don't want, if their attitude is not right, then leave them out. Tamba never report already what they can do. Then we can use those ones. But
Okay.
there is room already for those guys to come in and show what they can do to the coach. And I think it will be for the better of the squad.
Yeah.
Eh,
So we're
my
just
my
gonna brush by. Yeah, go on, Ray.
my take is this. Inini, I didn't buy into the the blogger
The
the
rumors.
blogger run issue kuti these guys are having issues with the coach. I didn't buy into that, and I'm still not buying it. We all know Marshall asked to be excused because of change of coach ku Wolves, and that's why
Yeah.
Chirewa had to leave as well. You see where it starts making sense. Marshall did not come; he asked to be excused because of that, and then Chirewa was asked to come as well because that's a new coach who's coming. He needs to see them there, right? And then
Yeah.
Anna Jordan is there. Isn't Jordan there with the team? Jordan Ariko,
No, Zamora is not there.
he's not there. Well, whatever it is, um, and I don't believe Budanzi's got issues with the coach. No, he's not there. It's good, but I don't think they've got issues with the coach. These guys, when the time comes, he's going to call them. Boys, come. We're not training, and then he's going to do what he has to do as a coach. I'm sure he knows where they're going to fit in. He knows where he wants to fit them in. He needs them. They've got the experience. They've got the know. They've got the experience. He just needs to blend them in with these boys that he has at the moment. So let's. You need now to cut out this. Don't say there are issues with the coach. Blah blah blah. He's a blogger.
But who in camp is then going kunema blogger? I don't wanna name bloggers, but who in camp is disseminating those rumors and news, and what are their intentions?
I'll tell you this. This is a setup I've seen. It's a norm especially in Zimbabwe setups. There are people within the setup of the squad. Remember, the squad is not just the players, and
Yeah.
even there are people who benefit indirectly or directly from having certain players in the squad. Okay, having certain people in the squad doing things, calling shots, and don't worry, Mpana. Don't make sure don't worry, Mpana. And in exchange for what? For brown envelopes. So when the dynamics change, when things are ruffled, when feathers are ruffled like that, but no longer have influence to the coach because you're no longer in his ear because this guy doesn't want to talk to you. I'm not here to talk to you, I'm the coach. So now they get so how do we get rid of this guy? And get another one that we can have influence over. So they'll start sending out the problem. We don't want to fact check things. We just want to Munakangoti Angoti Oji Asungwa. Munhu atomboona asungirwe and asungwa nguva iyi where is he, what has been said, oji asungwa yato sensation, you know what I mean, you get that kind of picture. So yeah, there are issues. Probably this guy just came and said we're going to change the way we play, we're going to change the way we train, hakuna player anofarira mama change anotora kutraina, but it is what it is. Those people, it's either you're in or you're out. So they get uncomfortable. It's like you move them out of their comfort zone. They don't like that, so they create stories. They sensationalize things so that this coach is sent packing. Who they can have, they can whisper in his ear. For instance, I will not be surprised. People whispering in Nissy's ears. The way he became so cocky, you could tell I need to believe Chekuti, I'm untouchable. Because there are some people, I'm sure high-ranking people that were talking to him that I'm nice. Tora Ningi, Tora Ningi. So these are the people that start these things. And then what they do is they reach out. You see, we have my bloggers near my page. Right now, when I look at my phone, I get Soccer Zone, I get Zimbabwe this, I get Kama Billiard Group, and I'm thinking, okay, my group say, Saya, they can all run the same story. So why are we having 5 groups running the same story? So who's behind that group? You know what I mean? Who's behind that group? Where is he getting his info from? And so if you are a journalist, or if you're a blogger and you want to be taken serious, you are told, Kuti, there's a problem in the national team. Anditka, coach who is abusing players, is being racial. You don't say, according to sources. No. You phone the media manager with national team. This is what's coming out. People are saying there are rumors flying around. You need to label them as they are rumors because they are not facts. They're not yet proven. There are rumors flying around saying this guy is racial. This guy is doing this. What's your take on it? We want to know what's going on so that we tell the public. Then this guy, he has to go and tell the coach, Kuchamar, this is what you need. We need a press conference because this is what they're saying about you. Bring the captain, bring him, and the coach, go up, and then bring those guys there, ask him, there he is, ask him. Whatever. Then you clear the air. And then as a blogger, then you say, according to the coach, Ningi, Super Mario, and the captain, and the manager, there are no issues in the national team because of A, B, C, D, and what happened was because of A, B, C, D. Right there, no one will carry on. But man, the way we do things is the PR guy we national team hataure anomira kusvika nyaya yacho yakutozonetsa. This is what I don't understand. Tatenda akambotaura akati there's a media guy ariko. Yes, but why does he have to wait kusvika moto? Kana moto katanga kubvira mukona, you switch it off. Handiti ukamira imba yako ikutsva ende uda kutanga kudana mvura. There's already damage done there. There's already damage done. Right now, handika vanhu vanongofana kuti winner, but there are a lot of people who are still skeptical about Super Mario. We want him gone because what was said about him is still stuck in there, especially when you throw in racism. You see, the white men and their black people who can go to racism. We saw this. We saw this from Black Lives Matter. The moment we go to racism, it will take time for people to actually, for some people to actually see Mario from a different perspective because the red card was thrown in there. So we need the media PR manager, whatever he is, national team, he has to be on point on his game. He has to be on point. He has to be reading social media. Mama groups say this is going too much. But mvura to dzima. So that people remain on a constant, we remain on a wave very constant, which because I'm ku 94.5 megahertz, I'm 102, 25 megahertz. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, there will always be these problems. That's why there's always a issue. Hey, why those players are from Matabeleland? Those players are from Mashon. We are Zimbabwe. Why are you talking about Mashon and Matabeleland? We are Zimbabwe. This is a Zimbabwe national team saying there are no provinces and what this is a nation, is a country. Stop it. Let's just play border because we're a nation. But kunevan who thrive on that one, create the division in the team, not knowing could a house at war with itself will crumble. It won't succeed.
Yeah. I think we because I wanted to touch on the one which you were mentioning. Three boys are like you're talking about Andy Zemura and we also and Munashe. I think let's is that time again where I say let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I think pedigree wise, what those guys are still very, very important, very influential. Yes, we enjoyed what we saw, and it's good, when you have those players doing what they did, because it's the young ones. But when you're talking about the Andes, you're not talking about the old guard. You're talking about the players who are almost like at the peak, So you're going to find that they are like what happens with football. These young lads sometimes you see they were very good in this game. You could see that the next game they could struggle. It happens. That's why I said let's not get too ahead of ourselves because of that game or because of the performances in the two games. We still need our players with pedigree. And Munashe comes in there. Munashe plays, especially in that formation. No questions asked, on Munashe with that because that system needs people who run, and who runs more than Munashe? No one.
No.
Yeah. So Munashe is going to come in there. Zemura in a 3-5-2. That's probably the formation that would work for him.
Yeah.
That's probably what would work for him because you're not giving him too much, as a fullback. it's almost like half and half, depending on the opposition and depending on where the ball is. Yeah, he's going to be massive, and Renault Mota is the heart, the calmness, because we're going to need to keep the ball as well. So I'm not saying all three of them come in, but what I'm saying is they are going to be very much players who you're probably going to expect, or who are going to be vying in the starting 11. But it's good competition, because now we know that even if some of the young lads get benched, we know what they're capable of doing when they come on, because they've proved it. Yeah. But but sometimes, but people get too excited where we say, oh, you know what, let's go with that starting 11 because we won. Boys,
Nah.
football doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. But, so if we get battered with the same 11, then it's almost like we're saying back to the drawing board. Yeah. So we've got to be careful. We still need the squad, and that squad, that game was very good, but it doesn't in any way tell us about the players who should be in the starting 11. Because even in that game, with what we've had with Chirewa, what he showed us there, he wasn't there as well. So that's another player that we haven't even considered. So already we're talking 4 players who we expect to come back, and we've got an experienced player who we think, should be in the squad, not in the starting 11, which is Mitsona, yeah? So there's a lot of things that will happen there, and some people are going to be disappointed, because like if you're wearing blinkers and you are asked, to pick the squad right now, some people will just tell you, because we won this game, let's go with that. That's it. Yeah, but it doesn't work like that. We still need all our best players, and sometimes you win when you don't have your best players. Yeah. So it's something that we've got to be wary about when it comes to the situation with the coaches. Like Ray was saying, at the end of the day, I stated this over and over again about the coach here when we were talking about coach, and I said Zimbabwe needs a coach who is not a Zimbabwean. And the only reason, even if we had the best coaches in Zimbabwe, the problem is historically we've always be succumbed to nepotism, favoritism, bribing, all sorts of things. Yeah. So our coaches, and I know now it's a blanket everyone, but we've got to be honest. Generally, we are always known, not to be very impartial. We know not to be independent from the executive, from the players, from the agents, from all that. Somehow, every coach, Zimbabwean local coach who has come in, has been associated with certain people, whether it's the team that he is coaching or he was coaching, or certain agents or certain players, or it could be the executive. You can't have football like that. We said we need someone who is different. And you know what? The reason why we have this has been happening, all this noise was happening, is because it's exactly what we need, that certain elements of Zimbabwe football don't want. If you don't have someone who you influence, because you're not going to Marinica and say, you need to play blah blah blah, and he's going to say, hang on a second, who's the coach? Oh, I am. Okay, that's fine. He's not playing. I'm actually not going to pick him because you asked me to play him. You need someone like that. And he has got no allegiance with anyone. He doesn't know anyone. All he's going to look and focus on is your ability, your football. And because right now, if there was a local coach, Jonah Fabish, if you had a choice of Jonah Fabish or Mave, I can bet 100% that they would say Mave because it's Mave. But with this coach now, it could be Mave, but he would have thought about it. It would be a footballing reason. It would be a tactic decision why he's playing Mave ahead of Jonah. With some, it would just be because it's Mave from Luton. He's got to play ahead of Jonah. See, so it's the best thing that has happened for us. at the moment.
Yeah. So people often say we're always attacking FIFA, but I think we should thank Mr. Magwizi, because I think this year they've utilized all the friendly days. We've never done that in the past years, but this year at least they've made sure Gibama friendly we are playing, including this past window. Mr. Ray, why are you not smiling?
It's
In order for us to be fair, we should compliment the good things.
what I'm smiling is, you see, it's like without tender baba was I think market cup. He should be doing that. It's
But
not
it was not normal. It was not
Nana,
normal for us.
that's what I'm saying. We want to normalize the abnormal. Magwizi is just doing Magwizi. Look, Magwizi is just doing what a FIFA president should do. Organize friendlies for the squad. Ndo basa rake, isn't it? Arisi basa rake here.
Ndo basa rake, but ranga risingaitweka basa rake iro.
Aiwa, because vanga varipo before andika, they never vanga vasingatomboiti basa ravo. This is the problem. The difference between here now, they never did their job. He's just doing his job.
So we shouldn't thank him for doing his job well.
No, not thanking per se. We're just saying, look, you are doing what you're supposed to do, which is great. We are doing what we're supposed to do, which is great. Which the country, the national team needs, and actually they still need more that he should do. But for this is kudos to him. This is kudos to him for actually making sure they played those two friendlies. They fulfilled those two friendlies. He took the team there. And also kudos to him. He didn't fall for the peer pressure. Yekunzi Super Mario Zodai. So he got him Zingay. He stood his ground. He didn't even get him. Akaramba Chila. He didn't even get him there. Because I tell you, now to be a battle to pay him off contract yake. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And we're still on that tiri panyaya yezifa. Imakatuna yarutanga footed Division 1 and relegation. I'm going to explain something. I'm going to tell you problem yokusa relegate and promote my teams. Australia in NRL, they call it NRL, we rare rugby. I know this we say hakuna team no relegate. You understand? Hakuna team no relegate. I know on the wooden spoon. You always want to give participant trophies, even Najgiwa. I don't know what they find in that. So wooden spoon. So a team yaro need this and get it last super wooden spoon. But guess what? The next season, that same team, irutamba foot same league. So what happens now? These are the teams that win it because they win Marinica and Didia. So they start buying the best players from other teams. So here team yapo wooden spoon yega inotoro wama best players oenda and then wasika gona yabo dzoka uko. So it remains a bottom club. So what happens is every other team above it, that plays above it, does not improve anything when they play against them because hapana tukungono winner. So it doesn't mean kuina kweduka takugona. It gives a false sense of representation. Yekuti no gonna strike bond 9-0. It's like England plays, Gibraltar as a qualifier. You win at 10-0. Win at 10. No, you shouldn't be celebrating that. It's only Gibraltar. It's only Gibraltar. And this shiri. I'm saying it's only Gibraltar. It's not known for its footballing prowess. You understand? The same comes when a Boravon's A League in Australian League. I tell you, they play. Some Asian, sort of a Champions League, but
Champions League.
Yeah, but it's
Asia.
I know it.
Teams from I don't know, not Japan, Europe. One was because I have a relegation system foot. And guess what happened? I was shocked. I was shocked. The other time, a couple of years ago, Drupona Press, no Rutamba. Daniel Sturridge was there.
Yeah.
Daniel Sturridge. Do you remember Honda? Honda akamtambira AC Milan. Remember that Japanese?
Yeah.
And I looked at them, and then they've got these names, Eco Croatia, and then Hungarian international. I know Google chop. Ha! History kubudaka yem player ever international. History yake kubudaka is just kuti akambotamba some. I don't know how they put it, but you see, so there's a false sense of ability irimo Malik Zawa because they don't have the relegation and promotion stuff. So what happens now is when they bring the soccer rules now, they're getting players from these leagues, because the best they have right now is this guy, the tall guy, Antambra Lista, that defender, the tall fella. He's British born and raised, he's Australian. And then there's a guy in Tambaku, is it Ipswich? I don't know if I'm sure Ipswich or something. He's their captain. Then we've got two guys who play in Japan. Ndoma foreign based dawa, the rest in Devemunum. I tell you, when I Thailand, you know that Thailand, you keep a Dynamos no Rogana 7. You tell Thailand, you Australia, Thailand, you know already Dynamos. But in English, because their game does not improve because of the setup, you would have a relegation and promotion. The same is going to apply to our league. Our league is already shaky as it is right now. Our league is shaky. Our league is poor. Mushi, question: when you played, who was the high scorer in your time? Who was the highest golden boot?
Golden boot. Van Wegwis, was like we kept cutting and Shingiralo, yeah. William Cherry, there was, you know what, I would say at that time, you'd expect a striker, even a bottom of the table striker, to score at least 15.
Thank you. Did you hear that, guys? A bottom club striker to have 15, meaning the team at the top, dancing always come at 20, 21, 22. And I'm Shekwi, and Atipa, and Joseph Mwanta, and Anna Zenzo Moyo, and Adam Dovu. These guys, right? Yes, and not big Mike. Why Zunza do it? Not big Mike. They never messed around. Wakumana why Zunza? Wakumana why do it right? Grajigo Sheka so. Wakumana why Rova. But there's names top goal scorer and 17 goals. Something is wrong with our league. You can't have top goal scorer from a team in a championship, in a league. I need 17 goals. You cannot. Something is off. Something is 15 goals. And there's my midfielder. My 10 goals. They're my midfielders. Striker
and there's something that's we're missing as well, that people don't really talk about a lot. Yeah. We don't look at how the economy has played a part in the game, and I'll tell you why. It's not something that happens over 1 year or 2 years. It's something that happens over a series of time, say like 10 years, 15 years. Our players are smaller now, weaker. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that the players are smaller. The players are weaker. That they're tiny. That's a fact. Yes, you can have the big, here and there big lads or whatever, but majority of players who play in Zimbabwe now, if you come back 20 years or 25, 30 years, their bodies alone, they wouldn't be able to cope with the Zimbabwe Premier League. It was tough. So that shows you that there's a lot of things, everything that can go wrong in the game is going wrong in our football, because it's sad to say this, but it could also be a case that because the economy is not so great, people are not actually eating properly. People are not eating properly. People are not maybe having the resources to actually eat properly. Obviously, it's not everyone, because some are all right, but generally, because you don't just become a smaller nation all of a sudden, unless there's something wrong, with your nutrition as a country, but to be able, but to not have those, strong guys, but who I watch players in the Premier League at the moment. I'm thinking it's so weak, so weak. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, if just think of Zenzo Moyo. You know how big Zenzo. Have you Zenzo Moyo?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Zenzo
I
wangari
played
monya
against.
kare. He was in
But
Dimba.
for Dila is also a big fella. That's a defender in the strike. Do you want to
Dilancho.
whatever? You see,
Yeah.
there's something wrong. And also, yeah, it has to be the economy as well, because look at the EPL. These guys got Vano Yaku training and you know where they first go. Vano change. Where do they go after that? Vano the canteen.
To continue call. Yeah.
Given people, and we talk that as well. But also, as standard bora zika, standard bora zika kumana. Standard bora. I'm telling you, standard zika the extent kuti you have players anoenda opera odzoka opera and still sparkles. Nothing kugara kuti wakomana kudhara wedu kangoenda zvatovhara naudzoki bosi kwakaipa and anonzani uyu. I'll tell you nyaya inondirwadza ina have strike anondirwadza like I told you ina I'm never a Dynamo supporter, but munhu anogona chionza chimfana chimavende chionzani ichi chekuzoenda kusouth Africa. Mwari wangu mufana uya dai akanyatsonechwa zviripo gentleman ayanga ari magetsi Harry Kane type mufana uya Harry Kane, but because anatanyanyiwa vakamhanyisa mari before the welfare mufana uya, they should have given him time kuti amature ari muleague yedu before shipping him off. Evans was going to go to Europe straight. Evans I don't know. Evans this thing. Evans angaine this Evans aiziva kuti dhoi riri apa ndikaenda neuku ndicharova so ndikaenda naapa ndichadai. And Evans aiti mamidfielders achiuya you could tell kumhanya kwaita kuti ichi mana ichida. He had one track mind kuti ndofanira kuzvicreatira space, ndofanira kuzunza apo, and Evans would do it, and he proved it kuZimbabwe, kuSouth Africa. But you see, as a young lad, and vakanomisa in environment that he was not mature for. This is what I'm saying kuti vakamukurumidzira. You understand? And if you remember, futi pakaenda ku South Africa, remember achispark aipinzwa ari sub, so coach akambobvunza kuti hey, why you must support akamboti akati hey, when the time comes ndichamutambisa achastart. Do you know why I was doing that?
Yeah.
He was protecting him.
To protect.
He was protecting the fella. I'm telling you, he was protecting because he knows media nevanhu South Africa. Dai vakamukwadza kugara. My players mangani South Africa tinoona, but with this short space of time atopera. Is that the hype, the media chichi and so we didn't do that. So what I'm saying, league yedu adona, gentlemen. League yedu adona. It's sad to say, but league yedu.
But why? So you saw what happened. Zifa released that statement. We are writing to the PSL. The PSL then did a vote. I think is it today? And then they said, okay, we've agreed to the again, but we now want to have 22 teams because we don't want to relegate anyone this season. And Zifa just now is saying, no, relegation has to happen. So is it something that was supposed to be done through my press statement before and Pindamu boardroom and they sit and they talk about everything? What do you think? Why would they be exchanging my press statement before they sit down and see and all?
I thought the initial letter from Zifa was a proposal, right?
Yeah.
If these guys, the PSL, agreed with it, then they were going to go back to Zifa and say, okay, we agree. How do you propose we do this? How should we move forward? And I think there's a step that was skipped in between, because that's why Zifa had to come and correct it. I think you have jumped the gun here. this is to be the process, because if you remove relegation from a league, that league stops being competitive. You see,
Yeah.
this was the bone of contention, Super League as well. You remember the Super League,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
with
In the
all
European one.
guns blazing. It died because of that. It didn't have relegation and promotion. You see, it takes away the competitiveness of the league,
Yeah.
and rightfully so. Zifa has put a stop to it, or I hope so that they have put a stop to it. You see,
Yeah.
so what I would think should happen now is both Zifa and ZPSL should sit down and then agree a map forward of how they are going to do this, how it's everything is going to work. Because
Yeah.
nyaya yekuti anza kuchisina relegation, as long as as much as we might want to keep Dynamos in the league, Caps United in the league, Highlanders in the league, but there is a way to do it. That way is not banning relegation, because that stinks, that reeks of corruption.
Yeah.
You see, your team is about to be relegated, and then you say this team, okay, this is in a relegation. Hakuna
Yeah.
bora kudaro.
I
You
have a
know,
question. Kev, I have a question before I
okay.
forget. Listen to this out. Kwekwe United, Yaga win one game out of 32 or 33 games. And then you don't relegate them. You keep them there. Why? Not
You keep
writing.
them.
What are they doing there, man? What are they doing?
Exactly.
To me, they're doing 33 games. This what is it?
And they even
And,
missed the game through lack of finances.
and then
Yeah.
we're supposed to play.
Let's keep them in the league.
do you know as much as I try to follow Zimbabwean football, local doesn't really interest me because I watch it here and there, but it doesn't really interest me because I just think it's very poor, and I think people are used to seeing mediocre, and they see this football I don't blame people, I don't blame fans because I had the same. We had the same thoughts as well. When we were playing in Zimbabwe, we thought we could play for Liverpool. It's that's we thought we could play that level. Liverpool was the and we wouldn't even rate ourselves as championship players. It's just it's just the way that people think. You think you're the best, but obviously not. So, but the one thing that's actually shocked me there is as much as I follow it, but there's things that I haven't checked. But I'm surprised that you're saying Kwekwe has won one game,
Yeah.
Yeah.
one
I
game
don't know.
in 33 games.
One.
Wow, that's shocking. That is shocking. I think that alone questions the whole premise of trying to change. But what interests me is there's two things I would just like to highlight very quickly. One is how does how does how do people or organizations or institutions actually get to that point where I'm literally holding this is a file of the proposal for whatever it is. I'm holding it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we've drafted a letter or whatever. I'm taking this to the media to publicize this, that this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And at the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I wonder if Zifa is going to be okay with this. How is it possible? Because surely, if I still have that thinking, then I'm putting it away. I'm contacting Zifa. I'm speaking to them, and the only way that I'm going to release an official statement like that is Zifa has said 100, not 90%, 100%. Zifa has written to us. Yeah, we've got a confirmed letter that says Zifa has agreed to blah 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 blah, that we've agreed. Then, if we put that statement and then Zifa turns around and say, no, we didn't agree with that, we say, excuse me, there's a letter that you signed. Yeah.
Mm.
If you don't have that document, how do you go to, or how do you go official with statements like that? It's crazy. It's crazy because you know what? This is Zimbabwean football at the highest level, and
Yeah.
it's embarrassing. This is a team. Just think about it. With what happened today, this is a Zifa or the country which beat a team which is 52nd just last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are such mediocre in that way. Where something is published and the other part doesn't even agree or doesn't even know, and then it comes. So that's the one question statement I had. The other one is we were talking about this. If you remember when I had a bit of a argy-bargy with the my very good friend, on the group here, and this is what I was talking about when I said you can never be 100% sure with anyone as far as professionalism and integrity it comes, especially when that person joins an institution which historically has had issues regarding professionalism. Yeah. And because we said, what if, even though the chairman proposed that he would want a 20 team uh, PSL,
League.
even if he proposed that last year. And I said, but do you not think that there's a chance that maybe he might be thinking about trying to influence what's happening now because there are teams which are getting relegated, which are big teams? And he said no, because he said it. If he said it, then maybe it's just the right time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we know that with Zimbabwean football, you're always going to be skeptical about things, whether that
Yeah.
that was the case, because I think it smells of corruption,
I think
self-interest.
Rudotombopeja Kamari name a bit because I'm realizing something which is interesting here. Because we said it was a 16 team league and it's
Yeah,
18 team league right now.
18.
Then
Yeah,
four teams were supposed to be relegated,
yeah,
and Zifa is now saying relegation is going on, and so
yeah,
four teams are going to be relegated.
yeah,
So which means there are two extra slots, number 19, number 20, which
yeah,
will be needed next season.
yeah.
So I was just thinking, there's a certain club which last week was just pipped to the promotion by Agama FC, and that club is a very prominent Division One team. So is there someone somewhere who's pushing some buttons so that some other two teams can get in?
But you see, the thing is now, uh, I've never seen it happening anyway, and but you can never say never with Zimbabwean football. But it will be as wrong as they come. I'll tell you the only sensible way that this can be worked on. If teams have got to be relegated, you've got to relegate. You take four teams that are going out of the league. Yeah.
Mm,
So basically, number 17 and 18
mm,
get relegated straight
they
away.
are relegated.
They get
Then the
relegated
four
straight
that were
away.
supposed to
Then
come up
number
this
number
time.
15 and 16. So out of the
Mm.
four, the two bottom ones get relegated. The other two have got to have playoffs with the number twos
Oh, okay.
from Division One. Then whoever are the two teams, that win that sort of whether it's a mini round robin or whatever, the top two then comes back, come into the Premier League. So there's a chance that the two who were supposed to be promoted, relegated,
Yeah,
could come back in, or there's a
yeah,
chance that the two who finished runners up, from the Division One, could end up being in the Premier League. But what
yeah,
you can't do is promote six teams from Division One and
yeah,
just say these four we're relegating it, because that's not
Let
fair, and
four come up.
also that's weakening as well. That's weakening the league, They've got the runners-up have got to be tested by the teams that are being relegated.
Yeah.
If they're good enough to if they're good enough to beat the teams that are being relegated, that should have been relegated, then they can come in the Premier League. But this is all, like mad things, mad things that happened with Zimbabwe. For enter, imagine they waited, to spoil it at a time when everyone is on the up with what's happened with the national team, and something like this happens. It's crazy.
Yeah. Maybe
what I did not get, OJ, if you can help me with this.
Yeah.
How many teams will be in the Division 1 now?
Okay, so the Division 1 thing that unifying the Division 1 was said could PSL proposal to it's something that will need to be phased and not be done suddenly because of my logistics.
So we still have 8.
So I'm not sure kuti phasing is it that because we've got 4 Division 1 leagues right now, and so I don't know the phasing yacho, is it that they are saying vachambogadzira 2 here Division 1 then avo vagara vari maregions avo vogara vakadaro or what. I don't know phasing yacho means what, but they've saying havasi kuzoita 1 Division 1 for now, but it will be gradually implemented. I think you recommended that.
I still think the way that we had sort of done it, OJ, we should be helping these people. They should come to us because we came up with a plan, where just bring it back to top 5 of these leagues, Division 1. The next 5, 6 to 10, Division 2. 11 to 15, Division 3, and 16 to 20, Division 4. That's it. And this is why I said to you, Zimbabwean football really does my head in. That's why sometimes I miss things completely. I was not even aware of that there's a Division 1 with 80 teams now. When did that change?
That changed panguva hyperinflation, I think. Pane dhara paipe yakamboita 1 and ndopa yazombonzi northern nesouthern. You realize. So payazonzi northern nesouthern, I think during time hyperinflation it became very difficult because dollar raingochinja kana mama akatotakura mari yefuel musingoti ichakwana pamunoda kudzoka kugame hazvichaite. Yes, so they then changed to 4. But it's been going on for many years now. I'll check the exact year.
I didn't even know. I didn't know until recently.
Yeah. But northern and southern, I think it would have been better. But
it would have been better.
80 was just too much. It was just too much. Have you been watching the under-17 World Cup? I've been watching some highlights, and if there's anything caught your eye.
I've not watched, to be honest. And I've been a bit busy, and I've not watched them.
Yeah.
I think I've had too much on my plate, with Zimbabwe.
A lot happens in Zimbabwe. You can do your head in. There's a lot that happens in such a short period. But yeah, I think we've discussed what's up in the EPL this weekend. I haven't even checked my fixtures.
North London Derby.
Oh, Arsenal, Tottenham.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chelsea are playing. I think Chelsea have got a 12:30 kickoff. I think I can't remember who they play, but I think they're playing away in a 12:30 kickoff.
Okay.
Man U play Monday against Everton at Old Trafford.
Okay.
Man City play. Man City. I think Man City play at 5:30. If I'm not, 5:30 on Saturday. Newcastle. I remember that. Yeah.
Okay. You know,
Yeah,
I've
so
been so upset
that's
with
a
Liverpool
difficult
that I
one.
haven't even checked who we are playing this weekend.
You're playing
Mm.
Nottingham Forest.
Nottingham. Okay. Hey, Sean Dyke.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Funny enough, you're talking about Sean Dice because I've mentioned him in one of my posts here, and where when we were talking about how the dynamics, with coaches, where you just have to do what the coaches tell you to do. And Sean Dice, came to Everton and he said, "You're not going to wear the what do you call them
Snoods.
the snooze, yeah. You're not going to wear the snooze in training. You're going to wear shin pads. These are adults, millionaires who are being told that. And, guess what? They've got to do it because the manager says so, because that's what
Yeah.
he wants. He's saying,
Yeah.
I want you to train like you're playing, so you're going to wear shin pads. And they do.
Yeah.
Everton, when Moyes came to Man U and I was talking about the catch up thing, yeah, he was telling that to Rio Ferdinand, to Gary Neville, and all that. That people who have won everything, and he's
Yeah.
saying you're not going to have ketchup in the canteen anymore. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like a high school thing, if you think
Yeah.
about it. But
Yeah.
guess what? It's followed to the T
They have
because
to
the coach is
listen
saying
because
that. So now, even when this guy was mentioning, like, what this guy was said, oh, I've got two relatives in the squad, I'm thinking, yeah, because they're spoiled, they got away with things
yeah.
because the manager or the coach wasn't he's stamping, his foot down and say, this is what I want. So all of a sudden, you start thinking like he's being unfair to you. But the
Yeah.
reality is that he's not actually being the way that it's supposed to be. Because if I walk in there, what I say goes. Even now, when I'm, as soon as I'm, my knee is okay and I go back into coaching and all, there's even at that low level, there's certain things that they know that straight away that Mushi don't, you know. He will have a laugh with you about A, B, C, D, but there's things that he don't compromise on. If you do
Yeah.
A, B, C, D, he's not going to be happy with you. That's how it should be. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be things that they like. And they don't have to like me all the time. Probably sometimes they're thinking as soon as I'm walking past it, they go, oh, and all that, but I don't care because the demands that I'm demanding are for the betterment of the club.
Of the team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's either you want to do what I'm asking you to do because I'm the one who gets sacked if things don't go well. So
Yeah.
I will sack you before I'm sacked. And
Yeah.
that's exactly the same thing that this manager, Marinica, will be doing because he's saying if you don't want to do what I'm asking you to do, then we're going to lose. Who gets fired? He gets fired, and the player still remains eligible to play for Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
So he's got
Yeah.
every right to demand what he's demanding, as long as he's not obviously having issues, as long as there's no issues like racism and all that, which, what, I could put my house on it, but I could bet my house on it that that never happened.
Yeah.
I don't believe that for 1 second, that because if that really happened, that guy should be gone. By now, he would have gone because racism is a big thing. But then I also look at it and say, uh, do people sometimes they ask as black people, do we realize that accusing someone of racism can have the same impact to that person that it has on us if we racially abused? Because
Yeah.
it's
Seriously.
like now, if he was reading those things, what, even now, it's like we've put him in a position where he's very uncomfortable now. He's going to be watching himself, he's got to be almost like perfect, because he's worrying. Even where he wanted to joke with players and all that, he's thinking, I've got to watch what I say just in case,
Yeah.
that racism thing comes up again. That's not okay. That's not okay. But we think that we can just throw things like
Just
that,
saw the
to someone.
racism part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was. Uh, it looks like Holland is going to the World Cup. He's been smashing the goals so no.
Yes, it looks like he has taken them to the World Cup after how many years? Is it
So Ballon
23
d'Or
years or
loading.
something? I don't think with Atashika Gogo, he still has to win the league. He still has to win the Champions League to have that conversation here, Ballon d'Or. But the way he's been scoring, it's been phenomenal. if Man City wins the league and they win the Champions League, or even they don't win the Champions League, they get to the final and they are competitive,
Yeah.
then and Norway do well in the World Cup,
In the
then
World
there
Cup,
is
then he stands
probably
a
a shout
chance.
for
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
Then there's probably a chance for him to
yeah.
win
he's
it.
done well
You
though.
see,
Yeah, he's
there's that
done really
time
well.
where he was cheated. Is it 2 years ago when Messi
Yeah,
won
when you
it?
had the trouble.
Messi didn't even turn up for that Ballon d'Or ceremony. He didn't even think that he had won that. Everyone knew it was going to be Haaland, and then they sabotaged. And
You
then
see,
you see, when it was
yeah,
announced in that auditorium, the winner was Messi. The silence that was in the room, everyone could not believe it. And then I think it was Titi who had to offer. He said, "Okay, I'll go and receive it on his behalf because he's not even here."
yeah.
Yeah,
I think, and to be fair, I always say this, and I've always put my cards down where I have a bit of bias, and I'm a Ronaldo fan. Yeah, and the reason, but Ronaldo, he's got his own ways. I find it hard sometimes to compare players and say who's the greatest and all that because when I really come down to it, none of them is even the greatest for me because I watched Maradona and I think Maradona is doing everything that Messi does, with
And then some.
with difficulties, bad pitches, the tackles that were allowed, the balls themselves were rubbish, the refereeing, there was so much, against, Maradona, and he was still able to do what Messi does. So Messi for me is not the best player in the world. Maradona is. That's my opinion. So
okay.
I never count
Yeah,
all
and
these
me agree on
Ronaldos
that
and
one.
yeah. So when I look at it, and sometimes when I say these things about Messi, it will look like because I'm a Ronaldo fan, so I'm saying this, but no, yeah, I think uh, I think I've proved so many times that I tend to be more objective, than just favoring, what people. And I think there are times when it's easier, the way that Messi is revered in the world. Ronaldo is not revered in that way because he's arrogant. Yeah, because of the way that he has carried himself and all that. So people always want him to not to do well in a way, and he thrives on that, and he's done well. He's made himself like there, and I respect him for that. And Messi because he's one who's always shown the quiet part. I'm a bit reserved and all, but even though sometimes he shows that he can be a bit he can be
He's got a
aggressive. Yeah,
bite.
he's got a bite. So now what happens is it's easy. Like right now, this is how bad it is. Right now, if they could try to find a way of even calling Messi the best footballer in the world in this year, they would. That's how that's how
Yeah,
it's
they
always
would.
been.
You
It's
see,
it's like as long as Messi is involved in there, it's like look at the World Cup. Look at the World Cup,
mm,
and there were far many players in that year when he got his final Ballon d'Or. There were I could probably put 3 or 4 or 5 before him who could get that, but because it was
mm,
Messi and he's finally got hold of the World Cup, he's got to get it. You see,
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I've never really, rated, what the Ballon d'Or because I also look at one which Ronaldo got, and I thought probably he wasn't the one who should have got it. There's so many instances where sometimes you just start thinking, is it just about the goals or what? What is it about? Is it what's the best player? Are we going to have a best player who's a defender?
even when
VVD, that season he was, oh my God, you know
Yeah,
what?
that one he was
No one
robbed.
could go past him.
he was run up,
Yeah,
wasn't
and
he?
you're thinking,
Yeah,
what else did you expect VVD to do to be better than the person who won that? Because he had done everything right to the T, but it was still not good enough, because there was someone who would have been scoring goals. This is why, I kind of discredit it a little bit because if you think about it as well, who gets this Ballon d'Or? Who selects that? Journalists
Oh no,
are involved.
journalists.
Journalists are involved.
Journalists,
There you go.
captains,
The captains, yeah. because because
and official
because for
teams.
me, even those captains of national teams, you can't tell me that they choose based on looking at who's done what, who's done what. Those people, if you are
No,
a
no,
Messi
no.
favorite, you're a Messi favorite, you're going to choose Messi. If you're a Ronaldo favorite, you're a Ronaldo favorite,
Exactly.
you're going to choose Ronaldo. End of story. It's
If you play with Ronaldo, you choose
You choose
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo, and if you
Yeah,
play
you've
with
got
Messi, you choose Messi.
Mm.
Simple. Mm. So that shows you that there is no balance in our sort of voting system on that.
mm,
That's why there's always controversy around that
the
Ballon d'Or.
Ballon
Yeah,
d'Or.
See,
Yeah,
yeah,
problem
yeah,
they keep changing the goalposts all the time. One time we are told it's because if you win the Champions League. The other time it stops being about the Champions League. It's about the World Cup. The other time it's who has won more trophies in a season. The other time it's how many goals has anyone scored. You see, you can't
yeah.
keep
keep
changing the
changing, keep
goalposts. This is
changing
how you
the
end up with different
yeah,
results.
yeah,
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 For the same thing.
you see
Yeah,
exactly. This is how you end up with
Whoever
different
they want to win,
people.
the criteria will be
Whoever
shifted.
they
Will be
will spin a
shifted
narrative
towards.
for him to win. Or you see, no
Yeah,
problem. That's why it's losing its credibility. The Ballon d'Or.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. Also, our problem boy Vets has been doing very well for Germany over the international break. Uh, he seems to thrive.
He just
And
had a single good game.
huh? But he,
He
I
just
think
had
he's
a single
doing very
good
well
game.
for Liverpool. He's created the most chances, but our strikers are not taking his
He's
shot.
what?
He's created the most chances. Like at a point,
Where?
he had created the most chances in the whole league. Right now, he's no longer the
In the
one,
whole
but
league.
yes, yes,
Uh, 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 uh,
yes. About three games back,
we are
Pakatomboriswa
what period was that? What period was
kubva
that?
kutanga kweseason kusvika at least about 3 games ago.
Kutaka season. That's where he was stinking. That guy.
But he was
He
creating
had no
chances.
assist. He had no shot on target. Can you then
He has
say
no assist.
he
How,
was
how, how do you have assist kana vanhu vasiri kupedzisa kumberi?
okay? You can say that, but how many chances did he create for someone and they were missed?
Many. That's why he
Can
had
you
the
name
most
one?
chances.
He created this chance for this guy and the guy missed.
Yeah, I have
I
many.
don't
I've
recall.
at least three
I
that
did.
not Salah akatadza kugohesa, Soboslai akatadza kugohesa,
I
Isak
created
akatadza
one and
kugohesa.
I created one of it.
Akaita one of it. Eh,
All right,
Guys, I think
you would have to come with the games.
I'll be leaving in the
I'll
next two
come.
minutes or so.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we're done
Mm.
anyway. I'll
Mm.
come with the games. I'll
You have to
probably
come
the
with the
next.
games because
Yeah.
remember, vanhu vari kutaura kuti vakacreaterana chances. They play on the opposite wings.
Yes. Yes. Vets and
Saka
Veda
where they
Kaspinga.
crosses where they overboard crosses to Messi
Because Vets
to
anoita
Salah.
cut inga. Anoya nechepakati from the left. And anoisa mapass either through kana kuti kuswera
Remember,
from the left.
pakatanga pai anga ari number 10. Andakatanga achitamba number 10.
Yes, but he's a 10 anodrifter. Because pacenter pane
Yeah, I know he
pakaminya
does.
munenge EPL mune mandimba maCB
Mm.
fanira kuti but
EPL,
ndinouya
they take no prisoners in
no they take
there.
Meme,
so yeah you
Yeah,
learn yeah
unovharwa munhu
yeah,
muEPL.
yeah.
yeah all right
Ana Bernardo, they receive from wide. Also, yeah, kemukati ari receiver from wide.
Yeah,
Mozo kadoneza
I
kwa
receiver
akawana
from
free
wide.
kick. But akauya kuzoritora pakati apa anoziva kuti
I
mawana.
don't
yeah
get that.
pakaipa pakati apo panorema
Ndopaunoona mufana anonzi ani Foden kuti chi mufana uya is really good pakati pai
is very intelligent
paanobata bhora
Yeah.
You hardly take the ball off of him. Ari
Yeah.
pakati paipe pekuti anenge ane a
Yeah.
lot of players coming at him.
Dana Joe Mugabe, who's very small in stature, but he knows how to protect the ball. And then
But
only
with
got a
skill.
good touch and you know how to protect. Because the only thing that you need, kana Uri small, is to be able to show the referee straight away that he's fouling me. I've got the ball.
Yeah.
But kana touch the boy kuti ukada kurimisa uzorimisa kusvike chitu
Aiwa
haunonozarwa
uzotoda
NPL.
kuritera.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
thank you, guys. Thank you to the viewers. Keep your comments coming, keep sharing, and thank you
and
for
we,
being
we
with us.
we we said it's going to be a short one, yeah, short one.
Yeah, we said.
Very
Okay, I
You
I
know,
will never
yeah,
promise that it will be a short one because
nah,
there's
that's
so
good.
much.
football for you. There's so much
Yeah,
to talk about. Yeah,
there's so much to
yeah,
talk about. But yeah, it's
yeah,
always good to be with you guys. Thank you.
yeah. Okay, cheers. Yeah, take care,
All
boys.
Cheers.
right.
Bye.
Okay.
Later.